So, as you can probably imagine, I get told a lot how arrogant I am, which is funny to me because I don't actually believe that's what I'm saying is what I'm saying is being actually understood, and therefore it's heard as arrogance. And as I mentioned in a previous talk, there was an author who I really didn't like at first when I was reading because I found him really arrogant. But as I continued my own process, when I later came back to his books, I realized that it wasn't that he was necessarily arrogant. It was the way that I was understanding what he was saying. And I think one of the things that ends up happening is that because a lot of us live in this world of duality of things are this or that, and what I'm usually doing is pointing to spaces in between this or that, pointing to spaces of uncertainty, which is uncomfortable for a lot. It's seen as, well, first of all, when I'm pointing to uncertainty, it's being heard as certainty, and therefore as an arrogance to it, saying this is that way when it's really intending to say this might be that way. And while this is that way and this might be that way seem really similar, they're also worlds apart. Really, they're worlds apart. And so that's a part of I think where the miscommunication comes in with that is the intention versus the perception. Um, and that's something that I'm hoping that these sort of videos can also help with, not just with me, but with everyone, of recognizing that what we are taking the world to be, how we're taking the world in, is not what the world is. It's an idea. And what I'm attempting to do with these videos is not to say this is what it is, this is how things are. It's to point to this is how they may be, and it's a pointing to. It's a little blurry. So the pointing to is not the thing. It's close to the thing. Um, I really enjoy this sort of saying from Alan Watts, who I've quoted a bunch, and when he said, as I heard him to say, when you point to something, like if you're pointing to a dog and you say, look over there, the dog comes to the finger, right? But what we're really saying is something over there. Or there's the Zen koan of don't confuse the finger pointing for the moon as the moon. And that's that sense here. What I'm really trying to do is not say this, but something over there. And I can actually never tell you over there, nor do I want to, but I can point in ways that help us start to see, oh, that what I took to be this was actually that. And in that unfurling process, in that process of pointing to and recognition is where a lot of life really is, and that's not necessarily how we take life to be. Right? And I know that that also sounds arrogant and that sounds confusing until it doesn't. And so if you've lasted this far, this long, trust me or don't trust me, that's where it is in those places. And it'll seem arrogant or it'll seem confusing until one moment when it doesn't. And again, you don't have to trust me. It's been my own experience that's been the way. And your experience may be different, which is also why I can't tell you about your experience. I can only point to a general theme or an idea of whatever. I mean, I say the world, but what does that mean? The world preconceptions, and the conceptions are what's filling us with it, which is why when I point over there, it's not a conception of that, it's a there-ness. And that's where I think health and embodiment actually lie. And so a lot of people will say, well, why are you making these videos? You know, you're a body worker. And the point is working towards an embodied sense of ourself. And our body is not what we take it to be. That's our thoughts. And so I'm trying to point to ideas of the embodied nature, which lies pre and underneath the thoughts, the thinking nature. The two go hand in hand. You can't have a brain without a body. You can't have a mind without a body. You can't have a body without a mind. But they're related but separate things. And trying to point to the embodiedness, the bodiness, not the mind's idea of the body. We'll hopefully go more into that in other videos. But for now, this is more, again, a continued explanation of the non-intentional arrogance and the pointing to that hopefully helps in some way or another. Let me know. Let me know how it helps or how it doesn't help. And let's just continue to keep unlearning whatever we've taken to be that may not be. Peace.